Let's make a teacher plant gift. I'm going to show you how to create your own custom design and then cut and engrave it with a laser. Let's get into it. This is a plant stake made out of basswood, and I am using it in a little succulent planter for teachers this year. The first thing I want to do is show you how to create your very own custom design using Canva Pro. So I am in Canva here and I have opened up a blank canvas and I am going to choose a graphic that I like. I found this little wreath with a flower on the side. Then I'm going to add some text to the inside. So here's a few tips when creating an SVG with Canva. Number one, you need Canva Pro to do this. There's a link down in the description with how much that costs. It is an upgrade from the free version and what it all includes. When you're creating an SVG, you want to make sure that you add solid colored items that are going to transfer easily to either a blade cutter like a Cricut or a laser cutter that we are using today. I also like to make sure everything's the same color and there's no gradient. The fonts and the exact graphics that I use for this design are also down in the description. The free version of Canva gives you a lot of options and graphics you can use. When you have the Pro option, you can access any of these graphics that have the little crown down in the corner. There are millions of different designs, graphics, and fonts you can use with Canva Pro, and they do come with a commercial license as well. With the design all created, I'm going to click Share up in the right-hand corner here. With the free version of Canva, you can download a PDF or an image, but to download a SVG, you need the Pro version. So I'm going to select SVG. I am going to tick the little box that says transparent background. Then I'm going to download this and save it to my computer. I'm going to use the xTool M1 for this project. Take a look at the video up above and learn more about this amazing laser and blade cutting machine. So I'm opening up XCS, which is xTool Creative Space, and I am importing that SVG that we just made. So it's going to come in a lot of different pieces, so make sure that you've selected everything, and I'm going to just make this a little bit smaller so we can work with it. Now I want to engrave all of this, so I'm going to click that engrave button on the right, but I also want to cut something out around it. So I'm going to select that outer layer there, and I'm going to create an offset with the button up on the left. I have found that for this particular design, an offset of 0.3 works really well, but you can just slide that button back and forth and decide what offset is going to work best for you. Then I'm going to click on the offset, and over on the right, I'm going to set that to cut because that part I want to cut out and I want to engrave the pieces on the inside. Now I need to make some feet, the part of the plant stake that's actually going to sit in the plant. So to make the feet, I'm just going to choose a shape over on the side. I like this kind of oblong circle or rectangle here, and I'm going to size it appropriately. I want each leg that comes off the plant stake to be about 1/4 of an inch wide and about 3 inches tall. So I'm going to make 2 of those and put them in place. Then I'm going to select the outline of the design and both feet. Once I have all of them selected together, I can go up on top to the Combine button, and in that drop down I can select Unite. And now I have this entire outline that will be cut out, and the engraved part will happen in the middle. I've had lots of practice using the M1, and I have found when I am creating words and letters that when you want to get a really dark and deep engraving, you want to do it twice. The first time you want to score, which means it's just going to do the outline of all the letters in the design. The second time you want to engrave. So that design that we created, I am going to duplicate it, set one of them to score, one of them to engrave, and then use the Align tool up on top to align them right on top of each other. All right, our design is almost ready. We're going to go over and set the machine up. This machine is set up next to a window. It is vented out the window, and I have a fan going on as well. I really like the protective enclosure of the M1. Really safe for your eyes and anyone else that's in the room. So I'm going to put these triangular prisms in first. This is going to help raise up the material. It helps reduce some of the char when you're cutting. Then I'm going to take a piece of 3mm basswood and place that right on top. I am going to plug this into my computer with a USB cable. The M1 is Wi-Fi capable, but I really like the quality of the connection when I use my USB. When you shut the lid, the camera turns on, and back in XCS, you can see a picture of exactly what your material looks like. So I want to make sure that my plant stake is sized just the way I want it. You can make these bigger for a bigger plant, smaller for a little succulent. Then over on the right, I want to choose a flat laser. The material is 3mm basswood, and it is raised by triangular prisms. Then I'm going to hit auto measure. Then I can go ahead and click on my individual pieces, make sure that the xTool reference is selected. The 3mm basswood settings actually work really well. So this should all be the same, but I just want to double check everything before we proceed. I want to make sure I have one layer of that design that engraves and one layer that scores. So with everything set, I can hit process and then I can hit frame. What framing does is it just draws a light box around your design area to make sure that it's exactly where I want it. If I'm happy with the framing, I can hit start and we'll go ahead and make our plant stake. It's all done. This came out beautiful. The cut is really clean and the engraving looks great. If you are not happy with the engraving or scoring, maybe you want it darker or lighter, you can always play around with the power and speed and really get the right one for you. I highly recommend doing your own practice to make sure you get the right look. Now, to make this a little more fun, I am going to paint this with some watercolor paint. I recommend using very little water and paint with this because basswood will bleed. However, with the engraving lines, as I'm painting this flower here, most of the paint is going to stay within the boundaries of the lines that I engraved. So I'm going to paint the flowers, let that dry a little bit, and then just add some stripes of metallic pastels. This is a great job for your child to do, especially if this is going to a teacher. What a fun way for them to add a custom touch to their teacher gift. Let that watercolor completely dry so your wood is very dry. Then you can add a coat of polyacrylic or some kind of sealer to it just so it holds its beautiful color for quite some time. Especially sticking in a plant, you're going to get some moisture on this. And then once that sealer is dry, I'm just going to stick this in a plant, and this is going to be a part of a great teacher gift from my daughters. I'm going to pair this with maybe a gift card and a little handwritten note from my daughter. So I hope you took something away from this video. We talked about how to create an SVG using Canva, how to import that into xTool Creative Space, and how to cut, score, and engrave this beautiful plant stake and create your own teacher gift. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. And if you like this video, consider subscribing. I am here every week with new videos teaching you how to create. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.